What happened this weekend? What lies ahead? Analysis and insight from the inside. This is Big Orange. Rewind.
Presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's is the perfect place to rewind after every Tennessee game.
This is Big Orange Rewind. With the voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, and VolQuest.com's Brent Hubbs.
So glad that you're with us to talk University of Tennessee athletics on Big Orange Rewind. Your chance to submit your text questions at 865-657-1278, 865-657-1278. Brent Hubbs is here. It is good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, sir. Hope you're well.
I'm fine, thank you. You've been chasing the portal.
We have been chasing the portal. There's always portal news, and it's been a busy portal weekend for Tennessee.
They have added some guys, continue to add some guys, but we're not close to the end of the portal, even though the portal has closed.
We are closing in on guys being able to go into the portal. We are not closing in.
You mean the time when people can go into the portal has not closed?
It has closed, but the window in which you can submit someone to the portal has not closed.
All right, wait a minute. I thought the portal closed at the end of business this past Friday, 48 hours ago.
At the end of business day on Friday, you have to, if you want to go in the portal as a player, you have to submit to the school you currently play for that of your intentions to enter the portal, of your desire to enter the portal. That has to be submitted to your football program compliance office that, hey, I want you to put me in the portal. Whenever you make that decision, whether it's at the deadline or whether it's the day that the portal window opens, the school then has 48 hours to put you into the portal.
Okay.
And so what happens here is if you go in end of business day on Friday, then the school has 48 hours to put you officially in the portal. Well, Saturday's an off day for the portal and the NCAA. Sunday's an off day for the NCAA. Monday is a holiday, off day for the NCAA. And so Tuesday and Wednesday are your two business days. There's your 48 hours. So if somebody said into business day Friday, hey, I want to be put in the portal, and they properly submit it to the compliance office or the football office, then that school has until Wednesday evening to put that person in the portal officially.
So if I turned in my paper and I took care of whatever I had to take care of Friday at 4:45 Eastern, I may not officially go into the portal until roughly 4:45 Eastern on Wednesday.
Correct.
5 days.
Correct. So
how many more people do we guess will go into the portal now?
Just a small handful. I don't think there'll be a ton, but there'll be a name or two that you went, what? Where did that come from? I mean, it happens every year. There are some people who believe that your portal window should technically close into business day on Wednesday, which means then you have Thursday and Friday to do business, and you don't have this long weekend. Did somebody go in? Are they going to put somebody in? That was somebody saying they're going to go in, and then they got talked out of going in. It takes this 2-day, 3-day window of whatever could happen behind the scenes out of the a bit out of the equation. There are some people who believe that you should do that to where when you get to the end of the 2-week window that nobody else you can't go in. There's not this lag time into the next week that the 48 hours would expire at end of business day on Friday, which means you would have had to have submitted your stuff to your school on Wednesday, and then there's the 48-hour window. But you don't go into the weekend with the uncertainty of whether somebody's going to go in or not go in.
So on paper, the portal has closed, and yet Tennessee has still had visitors all weekend.
Well, now the portal closing means you can't go in.
Right.
Portal closing coming out never closes. If you're in the portal and you don't have a place, you need to be somewhere when school starts if you're going to go through the spring semester and be eligible. But with drop-ad deadlines and everything else, you could probably get somebody in school in February in this day and age.
Well, especially with people taking online classes
and
now.
So it's one of those situations where if you're in the portal officially, you do not have to be out of the portal by now. Okay, I mean you can be out of the portal whenever you make a decision, which is why Tennessee's had visitors. Tennessee will probably have some more visitors this week, and they've had visitors on campus this weekend. That's why schools around the country are having guys on campus tomorrow and all week, next week. In Tennessee, I'm sure we'll have some more as well. So that part of it doesn't really close. It slows down dramatically, but it does not really close. And then there'll be some, Mike, unfortunately, who went in the portal that didn't land anywhere because nobody's interested in them. They made a poor choice. Or the choice they made, they did not get the level of schools interested in them that they thought they were going to get. They continue to hold out, and then they're going to run out of time, and they're going to end up playing somewhere that they didn't anticipate playing, and they're going to play somewhere at a much cheaper rate than what they thought they were going to get when they went in the portal.
Okay, so we start with a portal question, and this comes from Sterling in Chattanooga. What are the odds of Arion Carter returning to the Tennessee team for the coming season?
I don't. For those who don't know, Arion Carter declared for the NFL draft, and he has since stated publicly that he is withdrawing from the NFL draft for medical reasons. He's not healthy enough to go through the combine, pro days, and everything to better his stock in the draft, and he's going to go into the transfer portal and go somewhere to school. That could mean he could come back to Tennessee or he could go somewhere else, and that's what he's trying to decide with his family and his team of people. Where do I go? Do I want to come back to Tennessee? Tennessee's taking a linebacker in the portal. What does their portal numbers look like? I don't really know the new defensive coordinator. I know the linebackers coach because I played for him for 2 years. Do I want to go there? Do I want to change the scenery? If somebody offered me more somewhere else, what's Tennessee willing to offer me? So I think he is in a decision-making mode at this point. So to answer his question, there is a chance. I'm not going to put a percentage on it because I don't know, because it's been a roller coaster. It's been, hey, it's real likely that it could happen. And then it's like, no, there's no chance that's going to happen. And then it's like, well, you never know, maybe. So I'm kind of in it. You never know, maybe. We'll see.
I would think it's tough on both sides.
It is.
Because he is trying to figure out what he wants to do and how to improve his draft stock for 2027, which is totally understandable. Obviously, he wants to be compensated, and he needs a place to play. He's got to make sure he can play. On the other hand, he never played for Knowles, who was hired, at Tennessee shortly before he made his formal announcement that he was coming out. Tennessee has not only taken a transfer linebacker who played for Knowles, they have one of the top linebacker recruits in the country in Rouse, who's coming in. And, oh, by the way, Thielander and Spillman and Perlotti and several others are really good players. So how does the pieces have to fit together for them to come back together. And so, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it would feel like if they don't, it's probably nobody's fault.
No, I think that's right. And I think and this is, let me just talk about Arion Carter, because I don't want people to get confused in talking about something that's similar, but it's not exactly the same. So we'll stick it straight to Arion Carter here. Tennessee, when he decided to go pro, there was not animosity. It was like, hey, we get it. You're going to go pro. We're moving on.
Sure.
And now it's, okay, he's available. Does he want to come back? Do we have a place for him back? Financially, does it make sense?
Has his money been
back?
spent?
Right. And then at the same time, for him, but man, he's been a great leader.
Sure.
He's been a locker room stalwart. He's a guy who understands culture. He gets it and all those things. So it's like, okay, where's the value to that? Particularly when you have when you have a new defensive staff coming in and a bunch of new guys. Where's the value there as a leader on your team versus what money you have, and can you make it work with that? And then for him, the other thing too is he's not healthy right now.
Right.
So how much are people, or is anybody hesitant about him when they look at him medically, coming off the turf toe and everything that's going to be involved there, maybe a surgical procedure there? When's he going to be back? Is this a situation where he's back in a month? Is he back in 3 months? Is it going to be up into the summer? What does all of that factor into? So that one's not as black and white as some others out there. There are some other kids out there who went in the portal thinking, I'm going to go see what's better for me out there, and then I've got this fallback.
Right.
And what they're learning is their fallback moves on.
Right.
And a lot of those guys don't have the fallback that they thought they were going to have. Arian's situation is got some of that in it, but there's some different variables to it than some other guys.
Well, take everything out. Take the money and the playing time and the depth on the roster, whatever. Tennessee would want Arian Carter back. I mean, he did a great job for Tennessee. It's almost as if it has nothing to do with the fact that you just want him back. And, I mean, it didn't seem like he had a bad time here. He certainly improved as a player and was a leader on the football team and things of that sort. In-state kid. It's just, can you put the pieces together?
Well, the pieces that you're talking about, this is the business side of college athletics that everybody is having to learn and adjust and adapt to. That is a challenge where maybe it's very similar to NFL free agency, or it's NFL where somebody, in some ways, ages out. He's a hero. He's a guy everybody loves. He would like to stay. That guy would like to stay and play another couple of years. And the people making the roster decisions go, you know what? It's time we move on. We've got to we've got to move forward. Derrick Henry left the Tennessee Titans because it was time for them to go.
Well, it was a business reason on both sides. And for those who say, well, the Titans haven't been very successful the last 2 years, no doubt. But the Titans made that decision because business-wise, they don't want to spend that kind of money in a running back. Now, for the Baltimore Ravens, it totally fits everything they do, although they haven't, won a championship or gotten close to a championship either. And there are certain things that you say you do have to make those business decisions. There was a business decision with Lance Hurd.
Absolutely. That's the next example I was going to use.
I mean, would it have been great to have Lance Hurd back? Yes. Tennessee feels like they have their left tackle. You can't pay everybody. Didn't sound like Lance Hurd really wanted to go play right tackle, correct?
Correct. And he also wanted to get paid.
And he wanted more money. Mm-hmm. And it's like, not everybody gets everything.
And that's the business side of it, that for college fans, for some college fans, the reason they've stayed college fans is they didn't like the business side of it.
Right.
And so they didn't understand caps and free agencies and everything else and revolving teams and all that. They wanted to stay with their team, and they can cheer on Tommy, who came in as an 18-year-old and left as a 23-year-old. College athletics are different. They've changed. There is a business side to it now that is very different, and that goes back to what you were saying. Do the pieces. Can you make all the pieces fit for Arian Carter? We'll find out in the coming days.
Can he get the money he wants? Will he get the playing time that he wants and needs to go forward? How do the other things sort of fit together?
Right. Where does Tennessee value him with where they're spending money on their roster and all of those types of things versus what he wants? Is there some compromise in there along the way? All of those things factor into this. And it's not that there's animosity or anybody dislikes anybody. It's just business-wise, does it fit after they moved on without him, and he willingly moved on to the NFL. It just didn't work for him medically.
Hey, want to mention a limited number of tickets are available to the 2026 Tennessee Baseball First Pitch Banquet presented by Uber Eats. The banquet is this Saturday, which is January 24th, 6 Eastern, at the Press Room in Knoxville. Tickets to the event and the online silent auction can be purchased at event.gives/Tennessee. Event.gives/Tennessee. Come meet your 2026 Tennessee baseball Vols and head coach Josh Elander. Best of all, John Wilkerson will be there. I mean, if you're on the fence, buy tickets now. John will be there. Event.gives/Tennessee for the first pitch banquet this Saturday.
So the Tennessee Baseball Walking Encyclopedia, John Wilkerson, will be in attendance? Is that what you're telling me?
He's hosting the thing. I mean, come on. The guy's only been involved with Tennessee baseball in one form or fashion since 1988.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. Ronald Reagan was still president when John Wilkerson got involved with Tennessee baseball. How about that?
Yeah, that's good. Make him feel older than I feel. I like that.
Well, he is old. older than some of us.
What a ride he's had doing it. I tell you what, he's certainly gone through some trying days, but man, it's been a lot of fun the last few years. It's going to be fun with Josh Elander's team this year.
865-657-1278. We'll take your text questions when we return. Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
Big Orange Rewind.
Sponsored by First Horizon. Big bank muscle, small bank hustle. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee. Complete coverage for every phase of life.
By the natural gas utilities and pipeline companies in Tennessee.
Natural gas.
Pilot, the official travel stop of the Vols. See you out here. RJV Kubota, with 2 convenient locations in Knoxville and Nashville. And by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Tennessee Volunteers.
UT fans know it takes teamwork to win. And when you choose Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, you get a team who served Tennesseans for 80 years. From babies to seniors, big needs to small, we offer health coverage that fits your life and your budget. All from a company right here in your community. Now that's what we call a big win. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee.
It's football time in Tennessee, and that means it's time for Calhoun's. Whether you're headed to the game or watching from home, make Calhoun's your pregame, postgame, and every game headquarters. From hickory smoked pulled pork to the legendary ribs, juicy burgers, and mouthwatering brisket, Calhoun's delivers the flavor that fuels Big Orange fans. With 9 convenient East Tennessee locations, there's a Calhoun's near you. So gather your friends, wear your orange, and experience why they're the taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's, proud to serve Vol fans since 1983.
In this town, we don't just root for the team. We are the team. We rise before the sun, stay long after the lights go out. We are Big Orange Country. And with this team stands another, UT Medical. We heal the hurt, fuel the comeback, keep Vol Nation stronger, tougher, together, with care that never lets up. UT Medical, official healthcare provider of the Vols and all of Vol Nation.
Hey Vol Nation, it's Coach Barnes, here to remind you why Pilot is the official travel partner of Tennessee Athletics. Every season is a journey, building on what's in the rear view while keeping your eyes on the road ahead. The folks at Pilot know all about that. They're out here to help you make the most of every mile. Just like things were always better in that Tennessee orange, every journey's better with a stop at Pilot. See you out here.
Mike, Brent, and you. Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
Tennessee loses on Saturday to Kentucky 80-78. The Vols lose a 17-point first-half lead, an 11-point halftime lead as the Wildcats rally to win it. Rick Barnes, how would you describe it? I mean, certainly not happy, but that's an understatement. Angry doesn't really get it. Perplexed? A lot. I would say a lot of emotions would probably apply to Coach Barnes' postgame. What would you say, Brett?
I would say disappointment and frustration.
Okay,
is where I would say, because I think Rick Barnes feels like he's being asked a lot of the same questions over and over, and he's not mad at the question, but he doesn't have the answer to some of the things that is repeatedly asked about why, where. I think he's disappointed they don't have those answers. I think he's frustrated they've not been able to solve it and get to that point. And some of those questions are the inability to finish in the second half. You have 3 losses in conference play to this point. At Arkansas, you gave up 49 points in the second half. At Florida, you gave up 50 points in the second half. And Saturday against Kentucky, you gave up 49 points in the second half. You're not going to win many conference games if you give up a half 100 and a half of basketball, particularly in the second half.
Particularly for them.
Yes.
For what they're built on. Right. I mean, their core point in that basketball program is you're not scoring on us.
Yes. particularly down the stretch.
Right.
Like,
you are not everything is going to be hard, and you are not scoring on us. Period.
Correct. And they just, I think the inability for them to take care of the basketball and to close things out, but then you couple that with points off turnovers, fast break points, second chance points because they're getting beat on the boards. I think this one was harder for Rick Barnes to take. One, it was at home. Two, it was against Kentucky.
Oh, absolutely. They beat you 4 in a row at home.
And three, and he made this very clear in his postgame on multiple occasions. I don't want to take anything away from Kentucky. But he left Food City Center going, we gave that game away. Mm-hmm. No offense to Kentucky, but we gave it away. You gave away 2, what they're now calling pick sixes is in terms of turnovers. They're live ball turnovers that turn into dunks on the other end, fast break points. You did that twice in the closing minutes of that game. You didn't get offensive rebounds on multiple possessions in the closing 3 or 4 minutes of that game.
Get a position to do it there late.
Yeah, all the things that you need to do. That is the culture of what you've done for a long time. You didn't do. Listen, they've lost games. They've lost games where they've shot it poorly and somebody's run them out of the gym. They've lost games where somebody's made a crazy shot late, or they've come up empty on a possession and didn't finish off a game. There's not been a lot of games where you say in the final 4 minutes that the other team played smarter than they did and the other team out-gritted them. And that's what it felt like Kentucky. I mean, what's the crazy thing about that second half on Saturday with the Kentucky game is there wasn't a 10-0 run in the second half where you're like, oh, man, he should have called a timeout. It was 4 minutes of trading threes for twos.
Right.
And they just cut it a point at a time, basically. And then you look up and you say, okay, everybody calm down, still in control here. And then you got a 5-point lead, and you just have a silly turnover on the sideline that turns into a dunk, and now it's a 3-point lead.
Right.
It's those things that are just so uncharacteristic of what we have seen. And, yes, it's a young team, but it's a team that's played a lot of games now. And for some of the guys who are making mistakes, they've played a lot of basketball. Maybe not all in this uniform, but they've played a lot of basketball. They got to play better.
All right, so here's the coaching question I want to ask you.
Here, let's get a coach on the phone.
No, but it's more philosophical, and it's all I've been thinking about for the last 24 hours.
Okay.
So this team is largely new, which a lot of teams are largely new in college basketball. One of their most important guys, Cade Phillips, in terms of their chemistry, a glue guy, you've lost him a month ago, a little over a month ago. So you're down even further in terms of those experienced guys who are back to be leaders. So it's a new team. You knew it would probably take a while for this ball club to get fully functioning because Barnes hasn't had a point guard like Gillespie, who is a primary scorer, if not the primary scorer, since T.J. Ford back at Texas. Certainly hasn't been the case here.
Yeah, I mean, Kennedy Chandler wanted to be a scorer, but he was not the primary. Certainly Jordan Bone was a scorer, but he was not the primary.
Right.
So to your point, yes, I agree.
Okay, so that's different. That's very different, and that's going to change him on the offensive end running the team, but it's also going to change him on the defensive end. I mean, Dalton Connect wasn't put on the toughest guy on the other team, and yet your point guard, who's averaging 18-plus points per game, has to guard the guy bringing the ball up the court. Mm-hmm. So that's a little different. The other thing, too, is we knew it would take a while with Ament. It's different. It's a different situation. It would take a while for Tennessee. It would take a while for Ament. Those things have started to come into focus a little bit. I think Gillespie was fatigued yesterday. I think we saw that. Ament certainly did some things in the second half that got people excited about what he's able to do. Those two things have happened. I think we thought the part of it that would work to give them time in the other two areas would be the post. Mm-hmm. Strengthen the post. They invested time, talent, and treasure in the post. Well, that hasn't worked. I mean, just not to the consistent level that they wanted it to. So understanding how your roster's built, and this is the coaching question I want to ask you. When is the point you say, listen, I may have to take the heat, but I'm staying with this because we will get there. And anyway, it's our best chance to get there. Or do you see it as a fork in the road and you say, we've got to change what we're doing now because this is just not going to happen quickly enough for us to be able to do what we need to do to play in the postseason and potentially be effective?
All right, so what is the change? What are the options?
Well, so he's talked about going smaller. You know, and he talked about it when Phillips got hurt. Mm-hmm. That's what I've been going back to the most, and so that's the question. What does that look like? What does going smaller look like? And if that's the case, is that your primary lineup? Is that what you're going to do fully? You know, because for the most part, they've played two bigs with Ament. Mm-hmm. So do they go with Henderson? Do they go with a guy like Abram? Do they go with Amari Evans? Do they, you know, what does this look like in this position? And are you ready? How do you know when to pull the plug? And how do you know when you have to stay the course, even if the course is very bumpy at the moment?
Well, that's a great question. And I don't know what the answer is. And I mean, I'm not sure Rick Barnes knows. Here's a stat that keeps popping up for me. And I don't have them all in front of me. But I know the stat was not very good at Arkansas, and it was rough yesterday. This is a little bit of a stat that's loosely, it can be a little bit misleading, but it's still in its core, it still magnifies, it still says something. Yesterday, Tennessee was 7 of 19 on layups. And Jalen Carey did not take a shot outside the paint, did not take a shot really outside of the circle, the defensive circle there, and he was 3 of 12 from the field.
Right.
And so now the question becomes, can he effectively, not just him, but can your post players effectively score? Or to your point, do we have to go with give up some things on defense and go a different direction? Now, here's what I'm saying on the defensive end that you give up. I mean, you say, well, you're going to give up rebounding if you go small. Well, he got out-rebounded yesterday bad.
In the second half. Not for the game, but for the second half.
In the second half.
But the question is, does it make you better on defense?
I don't know. I mean,
he's played lineups like this before.
Somebody's got to be tough enough to go get some boards in there.
Oh, no question.
I mean, when you went Josiah Jordan-James at the 4,
who was 6'6",
yeah, and drove me bananas on the offensive end of the court.
Understand?
I mean, you and I had text messages in the middle of the night where I was like,
"I know
you're 6'6", dude," But he would always, he could grind and battle for rebounds. There were not a lot of nights where Josiah Jordan-James at the end of the game had 2 rebounds.
Right.
He went and got the ball. They've got to have some people who go get the ball.
Well, I mean, part of it, and you call them layups. I don't necessarily know that they're all layups.
They're points around the rims.
They're point-blank shots. Some of them are easier than others, granted, but they're point-blank shots. You can't shoot 50% in there.
No.
You certainly can't shoot 35% in there.
Well, that's why Rick Barnes in Friday's practice implored, I'll use that phrase, implored Felix Okpara, just dunk it.
Right.
Don't shoot a layup. Just dunk the ball.
Right.
You're tall. You're explosive. Dunk it every time you get a chance. Dunk the ball. Don't worry about trying to get an and one. Just dunk the ball anytime you can.
I think, but back to the question, though, about the philosophy of when a coach does this. And you're talking about baseball managers with pitching staffs.
I mean, is January the 19th, are you at a threshold moment there, or do you keep riding the bet? That's your point.
That's why you're glad to have a Hall of Fame coach, I think, because he's got to be the one to say, we've either got to ride this because this gives us our best chance. Even though people are not happy and even though everybody likes a change when things aren't going well. The head coach isn't paid to listen to that. He's paid to he's paid to say, hey, this is what gives us a chance if we're going to be something. Now, on the other hand, he's also the one who has to say, this is just not going to work. In the way we're doing it, it's just got to be done a different way. And putting Amari Evans on the floor, and playing him at the 4, which he sat at the desk right behind me and talked about the day they made the announcement about Cade Phillips being out for the year. He said, well, Amari Evans can play the 4. We can go a little smaller. And I was whoa, okay. They missed the scrap, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, they clearly, Zakai gave it to you. Jahmai gave it to you. Cade gave it to you. I mean, there's no way that what happened down the stretch with all the offensive rebounds happens with one of those guys. Something would have happened that they would have gotten 1 or 2 of them, just because that's how they were.
Right. So knowing that they're not walking through the door,
I understand that.
What do you? To your point, how do you fix that?
Is it Evans?
Well, somebody's got to be willing to go get the ball.
Yes.
And that's the thing that, and again, I'm not picking on him. I mean, I like Felix Zapara a lot, but I mean, 1 rebound at Florida, 4 against Texas, 7 at Arkansas, 6 against Kentucky, 12 against Texas A&M. Texas A&M is not a very big team.
But he had 4 in overtime. Mm-hmm. In the moments where overtime happened, he went and got them. Yep. He took over. And in certain instances in basketball, for as good a shooter or as good a dribbler or whatever you are, at a certain moment, some dude's just got to make a play. I did a state final game, a state championship basketball game involving Blackman out of Murfreesboro. And do you know who had 21 rebounds in that game? And I don't know that he could shoot to save his life. Jawan Jennings.
Yeah. That's why he's still playing football.
That's why he's in the NFL as a 7th-round pick.
He's a dude.
He's a dude.
At
a certain point. But I called this game. I can't remember how many points he finished with. I'm sure he had double digits because he got so many rebounds. But he was just like, guess who's getting the ball? No one else.
Right. And that's what Rick Barnes talked about yesterday. And I think that's probably what he and his staff will take a long look at this week because there's no midweek game. They don't play again until Saturday at Alabama. He talked about sometimes you just have to do your job. Mm-hmm. And your job may not be to score. You just got to go do your job. And I think he's looking for more guys who will just step up and do their job.
Right.
Now, if you move a Mint down to the 4, his job is he's got to rebound the ball. He's got to be physical in the box out. He's got to battle in there differently. But, I mean, everybody's got to go do their job. And you got to fight and scrap. And
is that the right move?
I don't know.
Based on, he got a foul called on him yesterday because he was in the area code.
Yeah. Well, here's what he can't do.
Well, but my point is, if he's playing down there, he's going to get those calls against him because you're in the action.
Right.
If you're on the wing, you don't get as many of those calls. And can Tennessee afford for him to get into foul trouble?
Well, that's the hard part for him is on the defensive end, learning how to play. Because offensively, he can create mismatches to where he can get himself to the free throw line.
Right.
But defensively, the question is, how can you help him out? What do you do to help there? Where do you go?
Can you help him?
Right. Are you going to dive in and double in the post and give up open looks for threes with the way people are shooting the threes?
I don't think so. Against Vanderbilt, you're going to do that? Right. I don't think so.
And I think these are the things that are Rick Barnes' dilemma.
Right.
But I tell you what you can't do. You can't go in the locker room at the half and Nate Ament's got 2 field goal attempts.
Yeah, that was odd.
Can't happen. He's going to play, and he's getting better. His last 3 games, he's played better.
Yeah, he scored 57 points.
And he's played really well in the second half, particularly the last 2 games. That's got to show up. That's got to show up more.
Well, it did show up at Florida. He scored 9 points. He scored the first 5.
He got in foul trouble.
He got in foul trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, you're sitting there watching that game on Saturday in the first half, and Tennessee's got a lead.
Well,
and then you're watching it early in the second half, and you're watching it, and you're going, he didn't touch it that offensive possession.
Right.
And then you go down and watch another offensive possession, and said, he never got his hands on the ball.
Right.
And so, I mean, I'm not saying you play everything through him, but I don't know how you go down and you run a 30-second possession and he doesn't touch the basketball.
If you did go everything through him, would that be a bad thing?
No, I mean, there's some people who have played point forward and played that way. Now, he's got to take care of the ball, but you
guess
have
what?
to help.
He's going to turn it over some. He's going to miss shots.
But you know what? I think the thing you're saying, and this is what everybody needs to understand, nobody's ever going to play. He play perfect. The expectation for him to be perfect is unrealistic because guess what? Everybody on this team's turning the ball over right now.
Right.
So what do you do to help Jacoby Gillespie out? How do you get the ball out of his hands? How do you take some of that off of him?
Do you have Nate handle it?
Right.
More?
Is Gillespie working so hard on the offensive end that he can't fight through the ball screens on the high ball screen stuff? Because everybody's going to do what Kentucky did in the second half. I mean, heck, Arkansas did it. High ball screen, turn the corner. Drop your head and drive to the rim. Stop it. Okay? If they over-rotate to help to block it at the rim, you got to dump off in the paint for a layup or a dunk. If they come helping off the baseline or the wing, guess what? You got to kick out three.
Well, and Kentucky made 6 of their first 8 in the second half.
I don't know what they do. I mean, shoot around, no shoot around here. It doesn't matter. For the last 3 times they've come into this arena, they've shot the ball lights out from the three-point line here.
Yeah.
They've shot the ball better here than they have some in their own home gym, which is crazy. They have shot it great here. I don't know what Rick Barnes' answer is, but I can promise you this. Today, Monday, Tuesday, he's looking at things very differently than he ever dreamed he would be looking at them when he was back in November with this basketball team, because he's got to look at what is the best fit for us now, what's realistic for where we can be in 3 weeks, what's realistic for us to get through the next phase of our schedule, because you're 3-3, you're going on the road to play some good basketball teams.
You're 2-3.
I mean, 2-3, and you're going to play some good basketball teams.
You're going to play Alabama and Georgia, both ranked teams, and then you come home to play Auburn. I mean, you got to get out of January 4-4, you would think. I mean, that's the real goal.
Which is why that one Saturday was so painful.
Oh.
I mean, you led 39 and a half minutes.
Right. And you played, I mean, the first 15 minutes of the basketball game is probably the best 15 minutes you played all year.
Well, and then
you showed every capability of what you could be in the first 15 minutes outside of missing point-blank shots.
Well, and the crazy thing about the missing point-blank shots is, and I had written this down as a note while I'm sitting there watching the game at the Food City Center, that was their best half of basketball, throwing entry passes to the post.
Absolutely.
I mean, they were on angles. They were the right angle. There wasn't anyone who's like, man, you can't throw that pass. It's got no chance. That was the best the perimeter players had delivered the ball in the low post to guys all season long.
For catch and shoot.
Yeah, all season long.
To be able to do something with it, I would agree. I mean, Tennessee didn't have a turnover the first 10.5 minutes of the game. Not one. We need a break. Brent's got to calm down. He's very upset.
I don't know the answer.
I don't know the answer either.
But I do think it's going to be really interesting to see how Rick Barnes manages his basketball team over the course of the next couple of weeks coming out of this. But I think this bye week for them is good, not just for players to get rest. I think it's really good for the staff to kind of go, okay, what do we want to tinker with here for a couple of days? Is there some way we can adjust some things to make us an immediately better basketball team?
A break and then back with more Big Orange Rewind presented by Calhoun's.
From the practice court to the free throw line, our attitude is always the same. Confidence and commitment can turn dreams into reality. Where there's a dream, there's a way. And that's First Horizon's philosophy. Big bank muscle, small bank hustle. First Horizon Bank, proudly serving Big Orange Country for over 160 years. It's no wonder First Horizon is the official bank of Tennessee Athletics.
Welcome back to the Ford F-150 Truck Highlight Show.
We saw an outstanding performance today, Mike.
It wasn't just a performance, Gabe. F-150 sent a message.
Towing, payload, technology. It was one highlight after another.
Absolutely. It's game on with Ford F-150. For the latest offers on the best-selling full-size truck in Tennessee, see your local Ford dealer today. Go Vols!
Based on S&P Global Mobility total U.S. new vehicle registrations for the standard full-size pickup segment, retail year-to-date April 2025.
At Sonic, the All-American Smasher is at the top of the burger food chain. Get it hand-smashed and made to order with a side and medium drink for just $6. That's not just a big deal. That's a giant, massive, gargantuan, humongosaurus rex of a honkin' big deal for just $6. A deal this big shouldn't cost this little. Get the Sonic $6 All-American Smasher meal today.
Tax not included. Exclusions apply. Limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins.
If you want to live free, yeah.
Rackley Roofing is now the official roofer of the Vols. And Rackley is more than a roofing company. They're part of the communities where they work and live, investing in neighborhoods and opening doors to a career in an industry that's growing year after year. Rackley Roofing's mission is clear. Transform the roofing industry with unmatched customer service, detailed documentation, and the highest safety standards. Because Rackley believes the ladder to a great roof is only as good as the people who climb it. Rackley Roofing. Building roofs, building future.
Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's, continues.
Tennessee Lady Vols are 5-0 in the Southeastern Conference. Kim Caldwell says, I think my team's more resilient. Well, they went to Alabama today and won 70-59. A big win for the Lady Vols to get to 5-0 in conference play, but also, Brent, to validate their 4-0 start, yes, which was against competition within the league that isn't quite as good.
Yeah, and again, it's going to get harder for them, but this was another notch on the belt. That was a big win for them to stay unbeaten, to win on the road against a ranked opponent, quality win, all the things that you're looking for, and it was another step in the growth of her basketball team that they got forced into a style that they're not the most comfortable with necessarily. They saw some zone. They actually handled the zone well, attacked the middle of the floor, got in the paint, played more at the rim than they just did standing around shooting threes. That it kind of felt like Alabama was trying to bait them into shooting a bunch of threes. They really didn't. They made some critical threes in the fourth quarter, but it was their shot selection appeared to be good from what when I watched of the game. Looked like they weren't taking bad shots, but they finished. They closed out a game. In the last 7 minutes of the fourth quarter, they had 4 empty trips. That's it. So when Alabama, they separated themselves because they just kept making a bucket, get an offensive rebound, put one back. Maybe they make a three. Down the stretch of that game, when they lost the lead in the fourth quarter early on, from the 7-minute mark on, they flat out outplayed Alabama on both ends of the floor. Defensively, they fought through screens. Offensively, they rebounded the ball well. They got some second chance points. They got to the free throw line. They made some critical, timely jump shots. They played really well in the last 7 minutes of that game on the road in a tight game to go get a win.
Big to have Talaysia Cooper back.
It was big, but I thought she played under control today. I thought that it was big to have her back. She scored. She created things for them and did what she needed to do. But I didn't think she forced a ton of action. She was 6 of 16, but there was only a couple of times that you were kind of like, where are you going? What are you doing? I mean, she made a couple plays in the fourth quarter, couple of bank shots, just terrific touch. Like, okay, there she is. She made critical plays. They're getting much better play out of the point guard position. Mia Paolo battled foul trouble all game, but she managed it in the fourth quarter to stay on the floor. She made 2 big threes in that game.
Janai Barker, I mean,
yeah,
you're happy with
getting help.
You're happy with the 10 points, but the 11 rebounds are like, man.
Yeah, well, and do your job.
Right.
Do your job. If you'll rebound the ball, as Rick Barnes said about Felix Opar, if you'll rebound the ball, you'll fall into double digits. And guess what? 2 offensive rebounds, 9 defensive rebounds. She finishes with 10 points on 4 of 10 shooting. She had 2 blocked shots. 2 assists, only turned the basketball over twice. They only had 12 turnovers today. And that was in a half-court game where they got forced into, quote, their non-comfort zone. They played with a lot of poise today. That's a nice win for Kim Caldwell's team. They come back home Thursday night, get Kentucky at home, and what's a big ball game and a big opportunity for Tennessee at home.
A break, and then we will continue with this hour of Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
It's basketball time in Tennessee, and Alumni Hall is the place to gear up for your Tennessee Vols. Shop the largest and newest selection of top brands like Nike, Columbia, Peter Millar, New Era, Yeti, and more. Mix and match champion tees, 2 for $38, and spend $150 to earn $10 Hall cash for your next visit. Shop AlumniHall.com. Visit Alumni Hall in Knoxville, Murfreesboro, Bristol, or Johnson City, or download their app. Alumni Hall, the ultimate volunteer shopping destination.
Hey, Vol fans, did you know anyone can shop Co-op? We're not exclusively for farmers. We're here to supply everyone with essential supplies for farm, home, and animal. With more than 80 years of being the go-to rural lifestyle source in Big Orange Country, our family of co-ops is driven to serve you and your chore list. Find a location near you by visiting ourcoop.com and go Co-op.
UT fans know it takes teamwork to win. And when you choose Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, you get a team who served Tennesseans for 80 years. From babies to seniors, big needs to small, we offer health coverage that fits your life and your budget. All from a company right here in your community. Now that's what we call a big win. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee.
Natural gas is building a brighter future for Tennesseans, powering the places where we live, work, and grow. It's more affordable than electricity and cleaner than other conventional energy sources. Natural gas makes every meal easier, delivering precision and speed in the kitchen. From your grill to your appliances, natural gas is there, keeping your life moving. And natural gas is the energy behind Tennessee's thriving industries.
Natural gas.
Presented by Calhoun's. This is Big Orange Rewind.
Glad to have you with us. 865-657-1278. Let's try to sneak in one more text question, if Brent Hubbs is ready to take it.
Let's go.
Okay. With the addition of Staub, are we in for an old-fashioned quarterback competition this spring? Wilbur from Kingsport.
Yeah, I think you are in a competition, and I think that the leader in the clubhouse entering that competition should be George McIntyre, because he's been here for a year. He knows your offense, and you go from there. I think George McIntyre and Faison Brandon will be your top two guys, and we'll see what Staub can do, the transfer from Colorado, who will be here this spring after a visit here this weekend. But, I mean, I think right now the question is, what are these two young cats going to look like, and where do you feel like they are coming out of spring practice and moving forward? And, again, George has been around this offense for a year now. He doesn't have a ton of experience, but how much further along is he mentally than everybody else? We'll find out.
Bill in Chattanooga says, Mr. Hubbs, what portal timeline change is coming next year? This couldn't continue with the playoff game still yet to play.
Oh, can we carry that one over? That's a long topic. That's a long topic of discussion. There are a good number of commissioners, ADs, and some coaches would like to see the portal move to the spring, and not in this window time, not in January. They want it to be in the springtime. The SEC coaches are They want to know what their roster looks like February 1st. So the question becomes, how do you tweak it with the academic calendar other than the timeline it's in right now? My guess is it stays where it's at right now for next year. The question's going to be, how many deals get approved? As that controlling arm adds resources to looking into deals, how many deals that have been written ultimately get approved? Do they all go through, or do we really start getting some of those kicked out?
You're talking about this year.
I'm talking about now. Yeah, I'm talking about this year and now. How many of these deals that are out there get approved versus they get denied on what some people have been promised? There's some people who say, hey, they're not going to approve a lot of these deals, and some people are going to be in bad spots. Are they? Are they not? That's the million-dollar question, I think, from a financial standpoint that we look at with this. I mean, you had 2 ADs come out this weekend, Mike, and say, you know what we need to do? We need to dissolve rev share caps and just pay football whatever we want to pay them. Everybody's doing under the table whatever they want to do anyway. Let's just open market. There is no but. You just whatever you want to pay, you can pay for football.
No chance.
I agree, but I'm just that. Listen, you had the athletics director at Notre Dame and at Miami both openly talk about just make it a free market and turn it loose. It'll sort itself out that way better than it will you trying to put a cap on it, because if we put a cap on it, everybody's just circumventing the cap. That's all that's happening anyway.
We always take your text questions. We always appreciate them at 865-657-1278. Big Orange Rewind is presented by Calhoun's.
Miss any of today's Rewind? Catch the full podcast with Mike Keith and Brent Hubbs. UTSports.com. We are the Vol Network. Exclusive guests, insider analysis. You know what happened. Find out why and how and what happens next. This is Big Orange Rewind.
Presented by Calhoun's. A taste of Tennessee. Grab a taste after the next Tennessee game. Calhoun's.
We had Calhoun's for dinner tonight, as a matter of fact, the Big Orange Rewind staff.
Yes, sir, we did.
Brent Hubbs, share with the audience what you had that you enjoy so much every time you go to Calhoun's.
Well, I enjoy a lot of things. Tonight, I almost went salad, but I decided to not eat very healthy. Well, I decided to eat very hearty tonight.
Yes.
And so I had.
Well, it's cold.
I had a barbecue sandwich. I threw a good bit of coleslaw on top of it with some barbecue sauce. Had some French fries, and there we go.
That away.
Outstanding.
That away.
As always.
Calhoun's always outstanding. We appreciate them being part of Big Orange Rewind. A lot of things we can talk about. Just a lot of things. And if you would like to take part, we would love to discuss what you would like for us to discuss. So you may text us your question. We would love for you to text us your question at 865-657-1278. 865-657-1278. We could certainly talk about Tennessee football. The Joey Aguilar story remains somewhat on the front burner in terms of the legal situation. We'll touch on that in a minute. What Tennessee's been doing in the portal. The Vols have been very active and continue to be. What we're going to do about the college football playoff.
Apparently nothing.
It apparently has to be, well, not apparently, it must be decided by Friday. ESPN says they're not extending the deadline again.
That's correct.
The SEC wants to go to 16 teams in the playoffs. The Big Ten wants to go to 24.
And so we might stay at 12.
Lady Vols.
How does that work out for you?
Lady Vols.
You glossed that part over.
Well, no, I'm hitting all the topics. We can hit them further.
Okay, I apologize.
I have a schedule.
I'm sorry. Let me get out of the way.
I mapped this thing out precisely.
I don't stay on schedule very well.
You really don't. Lady Vols are 5-0 in the SEC after beating Alabama 70-59. Their next opponent is Kentucky. Tennessee's last men's opponent was Kentucky. Wildcats won.
Ugh.
Yeah, that was kind of the.
Ugh.
Wildcats came into Food City Center and won 80-78. Danny White had comments last week on a variety of things. He talked to you, Brent Hubbs. He talked to me, as a matter of fact, too. Baseball is practicing. And by the way, their leadoff man banquet is this coming Saturday, January 24th. A limited number of tickets are available to the 2026 Tennessee Baseball First Pitch Banquet, presented by Uber Eats. What's the first pitch banquet? Didn't it used to be the leadoff?
It did. It's the first
back
pitch.
In the 90s.
Mm-hmm. We've moved on.
Yes, it's a new century, Mike. The banquet is...
We changed the name.
Baseball First Pitch Banquet. It's at the press room in Knoxville, which is supposed to be...
It's awesome. It's a cool little... It's a cool venue. It's really cool. It's not real big. It's got a quaint feel to it, but it's really nice. It's a really cool place.
Well, that's where the banquet is this Saturday, January 24th at 6 Eastern. Tickets to the event and the online silent auction can be purchased at event.gives/Tennessee. Come meet your 2026 Tennessee Baseball Vols and head coach Josh Elander. The website for tickets, again, is event.gives/Tennessee.
Baseball, Lindsey Nelson Stadium on the final push to get completed. Everything, players are on the field practicing. They've got the new turf down, which looks unbelievable, by the way. And finishing up.
They
a
bought
lot of work
some of
there.
that. The new turf was purchased with the surplus they had in the budget. That was an item in there, and it looked, from what I've seen, it looks like money well spent.
Yeah, it was a needed
and it was
deal.
time.
Yeah, it was time, but it looks great, and stadium is coming along. There is a lot of work still to be done before opening pitch, but a lot of that work is inside work now, which is good, and so you won't have a ton of weather delays. But final stretch run there to finish up a lot of things to get you ready for opening day and what is just going to become a grand ballpark, just a terrific
and
ballpark.
if you have seen the outside of it, if you've had a chance to just go by and see how different it looks from the outside, it looks like one of the spectacular new buildings on campus. It is no longer...
No, it matches.
It matches beautifully.
Blends in very well. It looks really, really well. I love the entrance, and I love the look of it from the inside, but that old area where the old ticket area and the entrance into the concourse was, that new entranceway there is just fantastic.
All right, let's talk about the CFP.
Okay.
SEC says go 16. Big Ten says go 24 teams. They are just in a complete and utter stalemate. A decision has to be made by Friday. ESPN says we need to know what it's going to be Friday. We've extended the deadline once. We're not doing it again. January 23rd, that's it. You think nothing happens and we stay with 12?
Well, I mean, my common phrase is going to be this: greater good. When are some leadership folks in college football going to take off their conference hat, going to take off their school hat, going to get in a room and say, let's do what works for the greater good? Okay, so the whole notion for the last 10 months, basically, was 16 teams. And then right when you get ready to approach the deadline, the Big Ten throws out a 24-team playoff. Like 2 weeks before the deadline, they throw this out there. Hey, we want to talk about a 24 team. So then they get it discussed for a day. Well, the SEC hadn't been working on a 24, hadn't looked at a 24. Now you're sitting here, and it's like, why can't you guys get in a room and say, hey, we might end up at 24?
Brent, who's going to get them in a row?
That's my point. There's nobody who is looking out for the greater good of the game.
I understand.
They're looking out for their own individual league.
I get that.
There's nobody.
But do you really want Greg Sankey to look out for the greater good? I want him to look out for the SEC. Because the Big Ten is as fixed on what they want.
Sure.
And listen, they want to rule the world. And I get it.
Nobody's given up for their own conference. And
right.
I'm not saying Greg Sankey's wrong.
Right. Well, he's not.
I'm not saying the Big Ten is wrong.
I am.
What I'm saying is somebody needs to get everybody together and say, but there's no leadership to do that, which is the problem with college athletics on the football side, really on all college athletics. But in the football side, that is the real crux of the problem, is there's no one. Everybody's trying to take control in their own vested interest, which I get, because there's nobody that doesn't have a vested interest in one league saying, I'm in charge.
But I think there's a fear, if you're the SEC, I'll just use the example from their perspective, that if you give in to the Big Ten on this, that suddenly they become the leadership group in all of it.
No doubt. I mean, it's
and if you're Sankey, you're like, yeah, we're not doing that.
Sure.
We're not. I mean, that's great. We're all. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people that think the Big Ten basically coaxed the SEC into a 9-game conference schedule.
Right.
You know that was the
because
Big
they
Ten
played
getting
9.
that done. Yeah. And they were doing that to all right. If you do this, then we'll go to 16.
Right.
All right. Now it's like, well, okay, yeah, we were going to do that, but now we want to go to 24. Well, you're going to give to 24? Well, Greg Sankey says we'll stay at 12. Is 12 the best for the SEC?
No.
Okay. Is 24 bad for the SEC? Why does the Big Ten think 24 is so much better than 16? I don't know the answer to that.
Well, that sounds like an everybody gets a trophy deal.
They do it at lower levels.
Well, I understand, and I'm not necessarily against it, but I mean, I think from the standpoint of the next evolution, 16 is the one that makes the most sense.
I agree with that.
The whole notion of 24, and of course I'm being flippant when I say everybody gets a trophy, but then it solves every problem of somebody who says we should be in. But it doesn't, because then you're going to get the 25th and 26th team who say they should be in. It always should have been a 16-team playoff.
I don't disagree with you. I do not disagree with that at all.
That's perfect.
And I don't think it should go any higher than 16.
I don't
ever.
either.
I mean, but, certainly can't go past 24. But I'm with you. I don't think you have to jump from 12 to 24. I don't think you need to stay at 12 either.
I think 16 and do away with the conference championship games.
Well, and fix the whole thing. Do away with conference championship games, which has got a lot of money involved. All that. Make week 0 the first week of the college football season. Let's stop with all this. Because here's the thing too.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
you're not having you need Tylenol.
No, I'm getting my thoughts together because
okay.
You said something several weeks ago, maybe a month and a half ago. We were having some discussion about college football and the calendar and everything, and you brought up a point that I didn't really think a whole lot about at the time.
Thanks.
Well, it was a good point by you.
Okay.
It's prompted me to think.
Okay.
But
you said you didn't think about it at the time.
I had not thought about it before you brought the point up.
Fine.
Why do you need such reassurance?
I don't need reassurance.
Anyway, you made a valid point. You made a good point.
Well, thank you.
And the point was this. The way this thing is strung out right now is it's creating fatigue for football.
Mm-hmm.
You're competing against the NFL, which is not good, but you're missing a large window of college basketball. And I didn't think about the college basketball aspect of it, but we're going to be almost to February before anybody really gets a feel for college basketball, because it just feels like college basketball is an afterthought until you get that put out of the way. And college basketball and the NFL don't compete. They're two separate sports.
Right.
You're not competing for anything. They can coexist through January. But Tennessee and Kentucky played on Saturday. And yeah, they're not two top 5 teams. I get that. But the transfer portal, the CFP, the fact that we're still immersed in the middle of college football, which started on August 1st, and we're here now with all this stuff, even beyond playing a game, isn't good for the growth and development of the sport of basketball, in my opinion. And I think that's another
and
element.
College basketball is awesome.
Yeah, and that's another element that's not good for that has to be fixed.
Nobody's ever sat down with college athletics, in particular college football and basketball, and done the total plotting of a calendar.
No.
Nobody's ever thought of it as, because it was always like, well, I mean, for years there was no playoff, and you'll remember this. The argument against a playoff was that they didn't want football to become a 2-semester sport.
Right.
For the athletes, for the student athletes. Well, okay. Now they're professional athletes.
Correct. Like, can I take a 30-second time?
You can get a 30, sure.
We had first question out of the gate was about Arion Carter.
Yes.
Arion Carter has just confirmed that he's coming back to Tennessee for next year.
Oh, that's great.
So
you have made my day.
Now we can go back to your discussion.
We can?
We can, but if you
we
want
don't
to
need to.
If you want to discuss
Arion Carter's coming back.
That's what he has said. That's what he's told VolQuest. That's what he has said, and that's
that makes me so happy.
He is returning for his final year of eligibility at Tennessee.
I mean, I understood everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understood the money thing and his side and all of it, but man, I didn't want to see him go somewhere else.
Didn't want to play. You didn't want to play against
him.
Well,
I just didn't. He's a ball.
Right, you didn't want to see him. You didn't want to see him in somebody else's uniform.
Yeah. I mean, that guy, he gave his all for Tennessee. I mean, he's playing this year with a turf toe and doing the best he can, and he's trying to go, and, I mean, he's having a hard time, and, man, he's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a good guy, and he's a leader. Yeah. Oh, that's good. What were we talking about? Nothing else matters now. Nothing.
Sorry, I had to get a quick one there.
What I was saying is now that they're professionals, and now that schools like Tennessee have $288 million budgets,
Yes. That's going to be over 300.
It's going to be over 300.
Yeah.
I mean, let's stop acting like money doesn't matter anymore. Please stop, I mean, it was always this pristine, it's about come on. The fact is, and Danny White has said it, the athletes want their piece of the pie, and they deserve it. I mean, they bring in so much, and we understand they couldn't control their own name, image, and likeness. Now they can. Okay. So let's make a media plan. Let's make a scheduling plan for the whole thing to take advantage of what a great product we have.
You're not going to get the first argument out of me.
Okay, because here's the thing. What I learned from the little world I came from, that's actually a big world, is there is a tent pole event for professional football every month of the year.
It's the only sport in the world that happens.
But it should be emulated.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be emulated with different ways that you can use different sports in order to make it as good as it can possibly be. One start to it would be to play the national championship game on New Year's Day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You would dominate December.
Absolutely.
Dominate December.
100%.
Would you take over for the NFL? Maybe not, because teams are trying to make the playoffs. The NFL's a big deal.
But the NFL and college football coexist in November and October.
And you know what? And they can coexist in December.
Absolutely they
It would
can.
be the greatest month of the year in the history of the world.
Let's not play semifinal games on Friday nights or Thursday nights.
Okay, but I mean, you could do that, but let's do it all together.
Right.
They don't put, when they put out your favorite TV series on streaming, they put them out in a row. They don't put them out and go, okay, episode 7 coming in 16 days, and then episode 8 coming in 13 days, and whatever. Man, the storylines, the interest, I mean, just all of it, and then you have this culmination around the holiday. You suddenly have a college football Super Bowl. Super Bowl. That's what you would make it, because it would dominate as it built down the wire. And you wouldn't hurt other college sports. In essence, I think you would help them, because you would create these milestones that would start the first week in December and go all the way through.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, how much steam have you lost between the semifinals and Monday night's game?
Well, you've lost a lot, because the semifinals are a bigger story, because you have 2 games.
Right.
And so unless you can build it towards something pretty quickly, it's like, that'd be too hard for somebody to play 4 times. No, it wouldn't. They do it in September, October, and November. The travel would be, they got plenty of money. I mean, you don't think Indiana's going to come up with, they're going to call Mark Cuban and say, hey, could you pay for our flight?
Guess what? The college football playoff pays for that.
Well, but I'm saying, yeah.
On the nicest plane you'll ever be a part of.
Right, but the point is,
it's okay.
It's okay.
Yes, there's enough money.
It'll be all right. And you'll be able to
nobody's taking the train to get to the game.
No, nobody's riding a bus.
We're not on a 3-day tour to get to our destination.
But man, if you had what you did in the spring more set, and you had a different idea about what spring practice looked like, if you went to the portal window, in the spring, and had that be your May thing.
Well, I mean, think about what you do from December 1st to the national championship game. Think about what happens there. You play conference championship games. I'm just saying right now.
I know, but
this is what you're doing right now.
I know.
Conference championship games, signing period, playoff games, bowl games, transfer portal, semifinal game, championship game.
This would be like.
Why are you doing all of that in that concise window?
What college football is doing to itself is the equivalent of Taylor Swift putting out 6 number 1 records all at once. What do? You put out a record, you let it burn, it becomes number 1, you put out another record. It's the history of music. College football just takes their whole thing and just dumps it out on the table.
Mm-hmm. They do. And it's eating itself.
Oh,
because
what they have so many college football. College football is so great. Signing day is great. I think the portal's great for a fan if you're just following. I mean, the more talk. Have you ever met anybody who got to the end of football season and went, "I'm so glad football season's over. I'm just so glad."
There's a few wives out there.
But I'm talking about
a fan.
I'm talking about a football fan.
You're right.
Have you ever met a person?
Well, it's the same way you never get the coach coming to his podium on signing day going, "We didn't sign a very good class. It was bad."
Or we're going to sign our new defensive coordinator. We're going to play real passive.
Yeah, I mean, but to your point is nobody wants it to end,
right?
Which leave them with an appetite for it moving forward. But you're weakening the appetite for it by dragging the playoff out the way you are.
There's no plan.
No, and nothing. That's why we're sitting here having kicked the can down the road for 6 weeks on a college football playoff format for next season, and finally the TV people in charge of it are going, "We're not kicking the can anymore, fellas."
Right.
That's the first person outside of the sport who's taken a leadership role.
But guess what they're doing?
And said, no.
They're paying a lot of money.
Yes, and they have every right to do that.
They're paying a lot of money.
Make a decision.
But if you make it more valuable, guess what they'll do? They'll pay you more money.
I know.
They'll pay you all kinds of money. And they'll pay you money for your other things because you can use the playoff, to leverage TV packages in other sports even.
Yes.
Because you've got this valuable piece of property and you're not maximizing it.
No. You're losing it in the cycle. You're just getting lost.
They don't understand that now the world has changed. Everything has got to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And college football has so many things that should be a thing. It's like the SEC had the big day where they put out the schedule for next year. That was great. All of college football should do that at the same time. They should make it a thing. Here is schedule release day. It's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
You're dying to see who do we get? Who we talked about on this show. Who'll be the first SEC game on September 26th? And lots of people responded to that to us saying, "Oh, it's going to be here and here's why." We didn't know.
Right.
It didn't matter. It was just fun to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what? We're fans. I need a break.
You've had, that's a zero.
That's a Coke Zero.
I mean, you haven't.
Zero sugar.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited about Arion Carter. But I'm so frustrated by the fact that one side says 24, the other side says 16, and there's not some overseer.
Well, they're messing with the joy of what you grew up, what people grew up loving, and that's Saturday at the ball yard, because we're getting caught up in all this other stuff.
I don't mind getting caught up in
with no decision.
I know. I don't mind getting caught up in other stuff. That doesn't matter, because that's good for business too sometimes. The fact that we're sitting here discussing it is good for college football business. But they're missing the point.
Mm-hmm.
The point is they're leaving so much on the table.
But here's the thing. At some point, people are going to stop being so passionate about this kind of stuff, because you know what? Everybody's going to go, it don't matter. They ain't going to change nothing.
Well, but they've always, they
nothing.
did that for years, not having a playoff.
They ain't going to fix it.
I know, and I understand that, but the point to me is not so much that as just the missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they missed this opportunity 30 years ago. The NCAA missed the opportunity to do NIL back in the mid-'90s. And the reason it's not further along is because they have consistently missed opportunities with what is a fabulous product. And guess what? The NFL is the number one sport in our country. College football is number two. We are a nation of football.
Mm-hmm.
That's our game.
Well, and you have to take a stand against some people that have controlled you, that have too much control. If you're a bowl game and you're traditionally played on first and it's not your year to host the deal, guess what? Your game ain't going to be on the first.
Right.
And if you don't like it, live with it. Stop doing the game. But we're not going to be beholden because you have to, by your tradition, to play on, speaking to you, Rose Bowl, on New Year's Day. Like, you don't have a say anymore. Okay? Get on board or get gone.
What do you want in?
That's exactly right. And when you don't have it, then you can do whatever you want to do. But if you're going to stay in there, you're not going to get your game on the first.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Not every year.
No.
Some years.
Right.
Not
if you want to
year.
be a part.
That's
if not,
right.
move on.
Brent, you're very upset. I'm going to take a break.
You started it.
I did start it.
Yes, you did. I was trying to bring you good news. By the way, Arion Carter's coming back.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy. I should be more professional, shouldn't I? But
No.
I'm just really... he's a Smyrna guy. He's a Middle Tennessee guy. I played in Smyrna before. Thurman Francis Junior High School, man. I've been there. I know Smyrna. It's a good spot.
It is a good spot.
I'm so happy. Tennessee got better today.
Yep.
Tennessee got better today.
And they have a heck of a linebacker room in talent and a heck of a competitive linebacker room. That one's going to be fun to watch.
Beautiful.
Now. It's going to be fun to watch.
More of Big Orange Rewind presented by Calhoun's.
Big Orange Rewind on the Vol Network.
Sponsored by Food City, the official supermarket and tailgating headquarters of the Vols. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee. Complete coverage for every phase of life. Alumni Hall, the ultimate volunteer shopping experience. By Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee, the official insurance of the Vols. Tennessee Insurance for Tennessee Life. Co-op, proudly supplying your rural lifestyle in Big Orange Country. And by UT Medical Center, the official healthcare provider of the Vols and all of Vol Nation.
Tennessee pride runs deep from Neyland Stadium to the family farm. At Farm Credit Mid-America, we stand behind the Tennessee farmers who feed and fuel our nation, just like we cheer for the Vols on game day. Because we understand that whether you farm every day, only on the weekends, or simply enjoy time on property outside of town, we have loans to fit your needs. Because farming matters, and so does every play, every harvest, every heartbeat of Tennessee. Learn how Farm Credit Mid-America serves the great state of Tennessee at fcma.com. Loan subject to credit approval. Additional terms and conditions may apply. Farm Credit Mid-America is an equal opportunity lender.
Tennessee fans, your game day isn't complete without Calhoun's. Whether you're inside Neyland Stadium for the game or tailgating on campus or at home, Calhoun's has you covered with shareable small bites, family feed packs, and party platters. Imagine your tailgate piled high with hickory smoked ribs, tender pulled pork, and that famous barbecue chicken. The best of Tennessee on one plate. Call ahead or order online and make your game day legendary. Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee.
A farm, a family, and a tradition of premium fresh sausage that's lasted almost a century. Using only the freshest ingredients and finest cuts of meat for flavor that is locked in instantly. Each bite of Swaggerty's Farm sausage transports you back to a warm, cozy southern kitchen, leaving you satisfied and ready to take on the day. Swaggerty's Farm. Quite possibly the best tasting sausage in America. Now available at your local retailers.
Vol fans, ready to score big on your next home? Clayton Homes, Oakwood Homes, and Love Homes are proud sponsors of Tennessee Athletics and proud to help you find your dream home. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking for your forever home, their teams across Tennessee have your back. With 29 locations statewide and Energy Smart Homes designed for year-round savings and a lifetime of comfort, it's never been easier to make the move. Stop by today and see why so many families and Vol fans trust Clayton, Oakwood, and Love Homes to turn home ownership into a win.
A look back and what's next. Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
If you love the Tennessee Vols, look for the new Vols Collector Cup at participating Hardee's locations. Rep the Big Orange, sip your favorite drinks, and receive 99-cent refills this year. Class up your combo with the Vols Collector Cup today, only at Hardee's, proud sponsor of the Vols. Say Big Orange right here. People are saying Big Orange again. Have you noticed that?
It's because of you.
No, it's not because of me.
Yeah, it's you. You're setting the narrative.
I'm not setting the narrative.
Why not?
I can't wait for my Hardee's Brent Hubbs Collector Cup. It's all the different annoyed faces that you make in the booth or on the or while.
Unfortunately, there's probably a few annoyed faces I've made at a drive-through waiting to get something out.
All right, so
I love my Hardee's, man. Are you
I do
kidding
too.
me? I love that. That is my Saturday morning game day staple.
Do you really get 2 sausage biscuits?
Yep, no hash browns. 2 sausage and egg biscuits.
Oh, you do get egg. Okay.
No cheese, 2 sausage, egg biscuits, and orange juice. And I don't eat them in the car. I put them in my bag. I go through security to come in. Poor lady has to open my bag and pull out my food, and I eat them in the booth.
She lets you bring them in?
She does.
What if I tell her to stop?
Then I'll have to eat them outside.
That would be so low down.
You'll see me outside eating my food.
I would never do that, Brent. But you never bring me one.
You don't eat pregame.
I do eat pregame. I just don't eat a lot pregame.
I've never seen you eat anything pregame.
I eat some. Text question, 865. We're getting text questions now after I lost my mind in the last second. 86. At least I'm reading the right number this week.
Hey,
got that medication evened out. It's really
baby steps.
Baby steps. Yes. 865-657-1278. 865-657-1278. 1278. Again, let's do it again. 865-657-1278. Apologies to the guy who got all the text questions last week. You got to see that guy driving home. He's going, what's they asking on? Me about tailback? What? I don't know anything. I'm a scientist at Oak Ridge. Why are they asking me? You know that happened. Good afternoon, gentlemen. While this will not be popular, Brian in Charlotte, not popular. Do you think it's time that our fan base accepts, unless this team wins all of its remaining home games and steals at least 2 games on the road, there will be no NCAA tournament this year? With the SEC being down, more than 7 to 8 bids is unlikely. Thoughts? Again, Brian from Charlotte.
Man, I haven't. I'll be honest with you. I've not. I think you need to win games. I mean, less than 500's not going to be good in league play. But I've not looked at everybody else. I've not looked at every conference. I don't know how valid. I'm not saying this question's not valid. I've not done enough of a deep dive yet to see which league's going to. I know the ACC is much better than they've been.
Well,
so
how could they not be?
Right, they're going to get more bids.
I mean, the SEC's not getting 14.
No, but they're also not going to get 5.
I would agree.
You know, so where are they at in there? I mean, to the point of what he's saying, yes, this basketball team is going to have to win some games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no doubt about that. And then for every one you lose at home, you got to steal something on the road.
You would think.
You know, there's no question about that. So they do have to win games. I don't know exactly what numbers everything looks like right now to get in and all that.
Well, before yesterday's game, the estimation of a lot of the experts who are really good at that and oftentimes turn out to be almost exactly right, they estimated Tennessee was a 6 seed.
Right.
So if Tennessee is a 6 seed, if they can win a majority of the rest of their games, then all of the graphs that you have to plot basically in terms of quad wins and all of the things that must go with it, I think that will probably take care of itself. Now, he's right. They've got to win a majority of the rest of their games. I mean, you would think if you're 8-10 in the league, that's not really good.
Right.
But, you know, a year ago you were 4-4, and you came back and finished 12-6, and, you know, everything worked out. So, thoughts?
Again, you got to win games. I don't know what the number is, and the point is, you were getting to that time of the year where you've got to take some real steps forward. I think that's why this open date week. No midweek game this week because they don't play again until Saturday at Alabama, I think is very important for this team because they've got to figure it out, and they got to figure it out sooner rather than later, to his point. And I think that's what you've got to do the first couple of days of this week. If you're going to make some kind of real fundamental shifts or real changes, whatever, now's the time to do that. You can't do that between a Wednesday and Saturday game. Like you've got to figure out kind of who you are, what you want to be, how do you get there, what's the best lineup to get there, style of play, all those things. I think that's what you're spending the rest of this weekend. You spent Sunday, you're going to spend Monday and Tuesday doing.
Well, it's a tough stretch for Tennessee as they come out because the Volunteers will leave for Alabama on Friday. It's an 8:30 Eastern Time game on Saturday night. So you're not going to get back until well after midnight. And then Sunday's gone, and you've got to turn around and leave for Georgia on Monday. And then you play Tuesday night. 2 very good basketball teams.
and then you're getting ready to go into the Wednesday, Saturday cycle.
More so, yeah. You know, you get into that, and you don't have another bye,
right,
so to speak.
So again, I think mission critical this week for this basketball team to find sort of their rhythm, to find their. I hate to use the word footing because it sounds like they're lost. I don't think that's the case, but to really hone in on what your identity is going to be from this point moving forward in terms of lineups, style, that type of thing.
865-657-1278. I see a report that Tennessee has signed Staub from Colorado as a quarterback, 6'1", 200 pounds. GMAC, in case you don't know, not everyone, George McIntyre is referred to by a majority of people, I would say, as GMAC, which I think is actually very cool. Anyway, GMAC criticism is that he can't gain weight that he needs. What is his weight? Steve from Cookeville.
Steve, I would say he's 195 to 200 pounds, somewhere in that range right now, would be my guess. I've not asked him in the last little bit, but I would say he's somewhere in that ballpark. You got to remember now, he's a tall individual.
6'6".
And so at 200 pounds, he looks really skinny.
How different does he look than Tyler Bray? You covered both players, and he was 6'6", or is 6'6".
They look similar to when Tyler Bray arrived. The difference would be Tyler Bray put on a decent amount of weight in the offseason before his freshman year. He got here at midterm. He put on a pretty good amount of weight before he got to that freshman year where he started in Memphis. So I would say by the time Tyler got to the start of that season, I would think Tyler was probably 210, 215-ish, maybe 205-ish, somewhere in there. So similar. Again, I think that I understand the weight thing. I understand the concern about the weight thing. It's not a concern that he can't play. I think a lot of people have taken that and run with it like, oh, wait a minute, you can't play a quarterback who doesn't weigh 220 pounds? No, nobody's saying that. He can play the game. It's a matter of, can he protect himself? Can he stay healthy, taking hits and those types of things at the weight that he is right now? Maybe it has no effect on him at all. But I think in the best case world, you wish he was 20 pounds heavier. That doesn't mean he can't play. I think that's an unfair
He can
notion.
play.
Right, but I think a lot of people have taken the concerns about him being able to protect himself from injury at his size and interpreted that to meaning they're not going to play a guy who weighs 200 pounds because he's too skinny. That's not the decision here. It's just you're worried about his durability because he's not heavy.
I get it, but, he can flat spin the football. If you were at practice last year and you watched the quarterbacks throw, he's the one that got your attention.
Well, here's the thing. This time a year ago, the plan was for this to be George McIntyre's team going into the season.
Right.
He was going to redshirt. He was going to sit behind Nico, and Nico was going to go off to the NFL after a good year, and they were going to just ascend right into George and go from there. George has not put on the weight people thought he would put on over the year that he's been here. He doesn't have a lot of experience, and you didn't finish your football season the way that you thought you'd finish your football season. And everybody who's playing late in the year is playing with a veteran quarterback.
Right.
So those are the three variables that have jumped out at you now that are different from a year ago when you're coming off the playoffs.
I get what you're saying. I think what you're saying is exactly fair. I'm just saying, in watching him practice, no matter what the weight is, he's a really good athlete. He knows where to go with the football. He had a lot of coaching at Brentwood Academy. As a matter of fact, they changed coaches quite a bit.
He had 4 offenses in 4 years.
Well, but here's the thing about George. And his junior year, they weren't very good, and everything fell in around him. And his senior year, they had to do some different things with a young team around him. And he responded at different moments in different ways. He didn't have the gaudy stats. George is a good athlete. George can really throw the football. He knows how to play the game. He certainly has a football pedigree. And we'll see where it goes next. But there's no reason to not be optimistic about George McIntyre. There is no reason, in my opinion.
See, you said that so much better than I did.
No, I'm just, and I'm not trying to say, we'll see what happens next.
Sure. But there's no reason to believe that he's not capable in any way, shape, or form of being the quarterback at the University of Tennessee.
Right. You said that better than I did. But I say this better than you do. Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
Coach Caldwell, how do you keep the intensity so high for a full 40?
Well, it's like searing a certified Angus beef steak. You have to start hot and you have to finish hot.
Coach, how do you always manage to have fresh legs in the game?
Brian, it's no different than Food City's produce department. They always have the freshest produce because it's straight from the farm.
Follow-up question. What?
Look, guys, it's not rocket science. Nobody does food like Food City. Thank you, everyone. Food City, the official supermarket of the Lady Vols.
It's football time in Tennessee, and that means it's time for Calhoun's. Whether you're headed to the game or watching from home, make Calhoun's your pregame, postgame, and every game headquarters. From hickory smoked pulled pork to the legendary ribs, juicy burgers, and mouth-watering brisket, Calhoun's delivers the flavor that fuels Big Orange fans. With 9 convenient East Tennessee locations, there's a Calhoun's near you. So gather your friends, wear your orange, and experience why they're the taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's, proud to serve Vol fans since 1983.
Tennessee fans, the Vol Shop has everything you need to support the Big Orange, with a 15,000 square foot store in the Student Union and other locations on Cumberland Avenue, in the University Commons, and inside Neyland Stadium. The Vol Shop is stocked full of official gear and exclusive apparel. The Vol Shop is your go-to retailer for Tennessee merchandise. If you can't make it to campus, shop online at utvolshop.com and be sure to follow them on social media. The Vol Shop, the official campus store of the University of Tennessee.
Every team knows great basketball starts with the fundamentals. At Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee, they do too. Trusted coverage, local agents who know you by name, and service that's there when you need it most. For auto, home, and life, you're here to protect what makes Tennessee life so special. Because when you have a strong foundation, you can focus on the road ahead. Solid fundamentals, trusted coverage, Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee. Tennessee Insurance or Tennessee Life. Get a free quote at FBITN.com.
The Big Orange Rewind continues, presented by Calhoun's.
Need a haircut? With the Great Clips app, you can put your name on the list from anywhere and head to the salon when you're up next. Because getting a great haircut shouldn't mean putting your life on hold. Great Clips, it's going to be great. Brent Hubbs, Joey Aguilar has a court date.
February 10th.
And what do we know about this specifically?
We know that a judge is going to make a ruling on a potential preliminary injunction, which, if ruled in the right way, would give eligibility for a year for everyone involved in the case.
Like 25 guys?
Yeah. A week ago, there was thought that there was news that a decision was coming on that last Monday. What happened last Monday was simply a Zoom call where the judge said, I just wanted to let everybody know involved in this case, I will not make a ruling before the portal window closes. We're not in a position. We're not going to hear it. We're not going to speed it up to that point. I just want to make everybody aware nothing is coming this week for the portal window. Adjust accordingly. And now we have a court date that's going to be February 10th. Do
we know this judge from past rulings based on the same sorts of things? Or is he new to this process?
That's a great question. I think he is new to the process.
Okay.
So I don't know what his history is on those things. We're seeing some win some cases for individuals looking for an extra year. We're seeing some lose. Obviously, the Trinidad Chambliss case is now moving out of federal court. They're trying to get that down into the state courts because state courts, there's been greater success winning at the state level than there has been at the federal level. So they're taking their appeal to the state of Mississippi.
And the judge played quarterback at Delta State.
Yeah. But that's an
He apparently did. I mean, I thought that was an interesting report.
But that's an interesting case because there's a belief out of that because of some of the things Ferris State documented in that case. It worked against Trinidad Chambliss in that he didn't play because they thought he wasn't ready, where he's trying to say there was, health things that were involved there. So there's some discrepancy in some of that has created some unknowns or uneasiness, I guess, with that case. Now we'll see what happens with that in the state of Mississippi.
It's been fascinating that the Diego Pavia ruling from last year, as Tennessee unfortunately found out in baseball, did not create the precedent that everybody thought it would.
Nope, it did not. And that's, again, that is the hard part of all of this, is there doesn't seem to be, and I feel like I've bashed the powers that be enough. There doesn't seem to be consistency in anything. And so you get this ruling one way, and then you have something that the case seems very much the same, but it's ruled in a total different way. That's what happened with Tennessee baseball last year. They thought, based on the Pavia deal, that was a
laydown.
It was a laydown, and it wasn't. Whereas the Pavia deal ends up giving Miles Kitselman an extra year. And
Joey Aguilar.
Yeah, when neither one of them were actively pursuing it. They thought their careers were over, and then bam, we got another year of college football. So it's really hard to figure out, because it sort of feels like whatever they're feeling that day, which is not true, but that's kind of what it feels like.
Well, I mean, the judgment about junior college is what is eventually going to be set. Does junior college count against your eligibility or no?
Yes. And the argument is that the NCAA says you have 5 years to play 4 years.
Right.
And junior college is not affiliated with the NCAA.
Not at all, yeah.
And that's the argument.
Right.
But my question is, why didn't we make this argument 25 years ago?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Why?
Well, because you couldn't really go to court. People didn't go to court until Maurice Clarett.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't go to court and take on the NCAA, and he obviously lost. Looked like he was going to win, but he lost. And then, of course, there were a couple other court cases. I mean, the fact that Ed O'Bannon stayed with it as long as he did changed the course of history.
Mm-hmm. The fact that he just continued to fight it. He just would not take a settlement. He would not. We're going to fight this one all the way to the end. And what it has done, to your point, is it's changed college athletics for forever. So I don't know what a judge is going to rule here, but we at least know a date to where this thing is moving towards, and we'll see what a ruling is. I don't know that February 10th is a finalization of anything, because there's so many appeals that can come after.
Because it's not Joey leading the case.
No,
right?
It is not. This is a Pavia case,
right?
Still,
who's moved on,
who's not interested in it.
He's going to Senior Bowl.
Yeah, he's not interested in it at all. He could care less what the ruling is, but he started it, and there's 25 people that have joined in on it.
I mean, unless I guess he doesn't get drafted.
I mean, I guess
who knows what?
I mean, I don't know. Could he could he go through the Senior Bowl and come back to school?
You mean like playing in the G League and then come back?
Right.
To, I mean, what can't you do
well,
now,
at
Brett?
this point, things you can do. It feels like you can do anything. And again, I mean, at some point, we're going to get rid of the redshirt rule and go to 5 years of eligibility. The problem with that is, how do you do that from a timing standpoint? Because somebody's going to retroactive their year.
Sure.
So there's never a good time in the window in the calendar year to say, okay, this goes into place today, because you're always going to have to fight all of that. But so now we're proposing changing the redshirt rule to where you can play in 9 games, Mike, and you can still redshirt.
9 out of how many?
12 guaranteed. And the bowl and postseason play doesn't count, so it's 9 out of 12.
That's fantastic.
Why don't we just? But we're not going to lift the redshirt rule and give everybody a blanket 5, because we don't want to retroactive a bunch of people to get their 5th.
I think I need a break to think about it. Big Orange Rewind is presented by Calhoun's A Taste of Tennessee.
Today's Big Orange Rewind, sponsored by
First Horizon Bank, Big Bank Solutions, Small Bank Spirit, the official bank of the Vols. Swaggerty's Farm Sausage, quite possibly the best tasting sausage in America. By the Tennessee Fund. Join the My All campaign today at IWillGiveMyAll.com. Rackley Roofing, the official roofer of the Vols. And by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Tennessee Volunteers.
Vol Nation, if you're looking for quality performance apparel, look no further than Turtleson, founded by UT alumni out of Bristol, Tennessee. Turtleson designs clothes and accessories that fit your lifestyle, from the office to the country club or the Tennessee Volunteers tailgate. Turtleson has the apparel that looks as good as it feels. Ask for Turtleson wherever you buy your volunteer gear or visit turtleson.com to learn more. Turtleson is a proud sponsor of the Vol Network. Go Vols!
Tennessee fans, your game day isn't complete without Calhoun's. Whether you're inside Neyland Stadium for the game or tailgating on campus or at home, Calhoun's has you covered with shareable small bites, family feed packs, and party platters. Imagine your tailgate piled high with hickory smoked ribs, tender pulled pork, and that famous barbecue chicken. The best of Tennessee on one plate. Call ahead or order online and make your game day legendary. Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee.
From the practice court to the fourth quarter, our attitude is always the same. Confidence and commitment can easily turn dreams into reality. Where there's a dream, there's a way. And that's First Horizon's philosophy. Big bank muscle, small bank hustle. That's First Horizon. Over 160 years of banking based right here in the Volunteer State. It's no wonder First Horizon is the official bank of Lady Ball basketball.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit RJV Kubota locally in Knoxville or Nashville. RJV Kubota, a proud supporter of the Vols.
The Vol Network's Big Orange Rewind continues. Presented by Calhoun's.
This season, enjoy and celebrate with the great refreshing beverages that support the University of Tennessee. Light and crisp, truly hard seltzer. Twisted tea, real brewed iced tea with a twist of lemon. Modelo, brewed for full-time Vol fans. Coors Light, choose chill, and Vol Lager from Yeehaw Brewing Company, distributed across the Volunteer State by Cherokee Distributing. Remember, celebrate responsibly, and 21 means 21. So Arion Carter has announced that he is returning to the University of Tennessee for a fourth year. That certainly feels like outstanding news for the Tennessee football program.
Yeah, I got a leader back, locker room leader, culture guy who's led your team in tackles, and a very deep linebacker room now with a good bit of experience for sure.
Wow. I mean, they're going to be able to play it a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to have to fight. You're going to have to fight for your morsels in that room now. I'm telling you right now, when you look at, we all think, Jaden Berlotti could play, Spillman. You brought in the Campbell kid from Penn State. I mean, he's a player. He knows his defense. Carter's back. T-Lander.
Rouse.
I mean, you got freshmen coming in. I mean, there's a lot of bodies there. There's a lot of talent. That's a really talented room.
It's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very, very good thing. Mentioned that the portal is technically closed in terms of people entering it, but Tennessee still has the ability to get players like everybody else does. If somebody is officially in the portal, entered by their school by this Wednesday, they can still visit, do whatever they choose to do with whatever decision they make. So here we go. It all continues. Tennessee basketball next Saturday at Alabama. Lady Vols at home Thursday night, going for 6-0 in the conference as they host Kentucky.
Big Orange Rewind.
Presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's is the perfect place to rewind after every Tennessee game.
Rewind one more time to this weekend's action. Catch the podcast at utsports.com. Big Orange Rewind. We are the Vol Network.